Hey everybody, hope you're all doing great. Today I'll be talking about three movies. No, not three movies, maybe two movies and one series that I haven't finished. I only finished the first episode, but I'm just here to review three things. One that I got recommended by one of my friends, and two movies that I decided to watch. So first, we're going to be talking about Bobby's in Deep. So, Bobby's in Deep is a 1980s anime series, and I think I liked it. I'm not that much into anime a lot, but one of my friends recommended me to watch this, which I really appreciate. It's only like 44 minutes. I mean, I only seen one episode. I couldn't find or look or watch any more episodes in the website that it was in. The animation looks decent. It looks like you're reading a manga. The background looks wonderful and artistic, and the movement of it looks so wonderful. This looks like there was a lot of hard work put in. The main character is pretty not great, but is well executed. I mean, after high school, he doesn't want to go to college. He just wants to live in his typical basic life of owning his own home, and he wants to work at a motorbike shop because he loves motorcycles. Someone sends him like love letters, and yeah, that's about it for the main character. The approach in the end is very interesting because he's from being a school dropout and wanting to be a motorbike shop worker. He then wants to be a motorcycle rider because he gets interested by a group of riders to be a motorcycle rider. So I thought it was a good change of character for the main character. So I really don't have that much to say about this other than it's okay. I'm giving it like 6 out of 10. Then after I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I really love this movie. I'm not a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or anything, but I did watch that one show that aired in the 2000s or 2000 early 2010s. I really don't know, but it's that show I will watch in the morning before or after SpongeBob premiered. I really did wanted to see this because of the animation that got me interested. I did love the animation so much in this movie. It kind of looks like the Spider-Verse animation, but not really. It looks like something a kid would have animated or drew, but I love it. The animation makes me keep my eyes on the screen looking at the details of every character and background. I really enjoy the character designs, and the background in here looks were so good. So is the fighting and the action in this movie, because there's also like a good soundtrack following along with it, which is great. The characters in here are great as well. Splinter, who is an overprotective character to these turtles, is great. The turtles and their origin story in here is so good and heartwarming. Following with the animation is wonderful. The villains, who I forgot their names but I remember Superfly, is a very great menacing villain, and so were the other villains. The characters and villains do change in the end, but I don't want to spoil this movie. I think you should go watch it. The cast in here is pretty well. The teenagers who played the role were great. I'm glad they had real teenagers to play them and not adults, because that would somehow ruin the movie. Ice Cube, Seth Rogen, Jackie Chan, Paul Rudd, Post Malone are really well in this movie. So is John Cena, Maya Rudolph, and Rose Byrne. There's a good theme about these turtles wanting to be accepted into the real world, but they can't because they're mutants, and a lot of people see them as threats and monsters, and in order to prove that they are not a threat, They had stopped Superfly's plan and later get accepted into society. I really love that thing because it reminded me a lot of the movie from 2014, which I'll talk about later after this one. So yeah, there's also like an end credit scene in this movie which, highlights a sequel. If there's a sequel to this, then I can't wait to see it. I really want to see how it will turn out. What's the future of these characters and stories? So for my ranking, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I really loved it so much. I loved it more than the 2014, which was bad but somehow enjoyable. I'll have to rewatch that in the future and give it my opinion. I also enjoyed this much more than Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I know it will be controversial to say that, but sorry, not sorry, I really loved this movie better than Spider-Verse. Then after I watched Talk to Me is a horror movie created by the YouTubers Danny and Michael Filippo, two creators who owned the channel Raka Raka, which I am familiar with because I've seen their violent Ronald McDonald videos and much more. This movie follows a woman who grabs a hand and says "talk to me" to it, and then she can communicate with the dead and later on become something they can't control. And I think it's a great film. I think this is probably the best horror movie I've seen so far because I feel like horror films these days feel lame and lazy. But I do love the horror genre a lot. But I would say that horror movies do feel pretty lame these days. So the concept of the hand doesn't feel like an original concept because you get to contact the dead just like in the Ouija board, but this time it's a hand and not an Ouija board. So I do like that concept. This movie has like a message that maybe you shouldn't mess with stuff you shouldn't mess with, and the hand in here is like a drug to everyone. Pretty much like a drug approach kind of thing. It's a creepy film, very creepy, and also it has a really good acting. The actors did a really good job. They put a lot of effort and it looks like they really care about this. The main lead is amazing. She did a good job with acting and she was really committed to her role. And so was everyone else in here that was committed to their role, and they did deliver very well. The creepiness in this film comes from the makeup. The black eyes is one thing, but it's also the disfigured and scary makeup from the dead people in this movie that looked very good and very scary. I love the directing in this movie. I love the tilt scenes whenever you turn your head up, and so does the camera tilt. The directing looks like it focuses more on the person holding the hand while they're being possessed, and it also focused on the scary imagery in this film. There is one scene in here that really disturbed me and stays with me forever. The imagery and grotesque of that scene really felt effective. The rest of this movie isn't filled with like gore and blood or jump scares. It doesn't rely on that, nor the movie is not just about a typical haunting object, hunting people down one by one. The story in this movie is more about the characters and dangers that they go through with the hand and the scary imagery that they go through. I appreciate that the movie is an hour and 35 minutes long because it doesn't stretch or add anything to the plot. It's basically like just these friends, they experiment the hand, and that's about it. But at the end of the day, I really love this movie. It is the best like horror movie I've seen in a long time. I'm giving this 8.5 out of 10. It is great and amazing, done by two people who own a YouTube channel. It is really inspiring and can also inspire other people and YouTubers, and can't wait to see what Danny and Mike will do next if they have any other future products. So that's all for 3 reviews on a show and 2 movies. Let me know what you thought of them if you've seen any of them in the comments. Will you plan on going to check them out? If you enjoy the content, then please like and subscribe. It's optional, it's up to you if you want to. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.